So how many of you are in that position whereby you think you might have ruined things with manifesting your specific person? Some of you are so entrenched in anxiety, labeling yourself this anxious attachment or anxious avoidant, or doing it with your SP. And you know what I'm like with these labels? I always say that if you're going to give yourself any label, make sure it's an empowering one. And if you exhibit symptoms of anxious attachment styles, it's okay. Just remember, you're just exhibiting symptoms of it. Don't ever own a label that will hold you back. But essentially, this was my client. She had all these anxious tendencies that meant that any loving, committed relationship she would encounter, she would sabotage. And of course, she loved her specific person to bits, but it turned into a situation of toxicity whereby she wasn't in a position to fully accept and hold on to the love that she could have had with him. Things completely broke down. We're talking long periods of no contact, and we're talking about a lot of traumas and a lot of fears that she had to overcome. But of course she did, as a lot of you do on this channel, because you are here as part of the deep code of manifesting, where we go to the root cause of the problem. There's nothing surface level here. And today's success story is a testament to the kind of amazing changes that you can achieve that some people perhaps take years to achieve, if at all. You guys are getting it, you guys are putting it to the test, and you're achieving incredible results, of course. So stick around, because there's quite a lot to this. I have screenshotted and put the post up there on the community post that you could see our exchange on WhatsApp. And she has messaged me quite a lot on WhatsApp because for some reason she doesn't think, English is not her first language, so she didn't have any faith in her English, but her English is amazing. You guys have actually heard her story before. Her voice might sound familiar to you because she's like one of my best students, or whatever to even call her. She's just an amazing manifester, an amazing weaver of this deep code. She is the one who managed to manifest health for her mother. Her mother, I think, was diagnosed, or could have been like ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. That's what the doctors were saying she had. They were giving her feeding tubes. It was looking very, very bleak for a while. And she persevered in the knowing that her and her mum were going to share in eating pizza together. And of course, feeding tubes removed. Mother has healed exponentially. It's just incredible. She shared that miraculous story. So if you recognize her, you'll recognize her from her incredible story with her mother. And that's why I didn't doubt for a second she was going to achieve everything that she wanted with her specific person. But they're still on the bridge. But she wanted to own her success, because remember what I say, all of you own the fact that you are a success now. You're not actually manifesting the SP or the abundance or the successful business or the car or the house. You're not manifesting anything outside of you. Manifestation is about within, internally, what you identify as. So what she identified as, she went from traumatized, anxious, avoidant tendencies to manifesting the version of her that could accept love, that was readily able to receive it, that felt more confident, that her SP would be drawn back into. She also shares some voice notes, and I'm going to share her voice notes. So for those of you who are willing to stick around through this, you're going to get an absolute masterclass of information here. A lot of it you would have heard from me as well. Of course, she's worked with me for a while. But to hear it in someone else's own words after they've personally experienced it, I think it's really, really important, and you won't come across this sort of deep dive information anywhere else. So you better sit back, relax. This video is packed to the brim with juicy gems, so we might as well enjoy ourselves. And do you know what? I was going to sit back and relax because I thought I can just press play now. No, I forgot. There's the bit that I have to read. So, okay, cheers everybody. And I really hope that it's nice and quiet, because there's some demolition going on nearby. But I thought, how can I not do this outside when the weather is glorious? So let me read her story to you, and then I'll play her voice notes that she asked me to share to give you guys some more information, because she had an epiphany. I mean, really, she did everything wrong. If you're worried about wavering, she wavered a lot. I'm dealing with someone who is like really, really anxious, guys. She wavered a hell of a lot. Didn't stop her manifestation. So she says, first of all, I want to thank Athena for the immense support she gave me throughout this journey. My manifestation isn't fully complete yet. My ultimate goal is to marry him and to live together. but truthfully, we already treat each other like a married couple, so I know that we are well on our way. I believed I manifested not just him, but also the entire journey that brought me here. Before this, I was stuck in a very toxic relationship that lasted a year and a half, if not longer emotionally. I don't blame the other person. The truth is, I was the toxic one too. Manifestation for me has been a path of deep and personal spiritual growth. It's helping me become the version of myself I always wanted to be. For a long time, I craved love, but I never had anything serious. I developed an avoidant attachment style and relationship-related traumas after I turned 15. Manifesting helped me to face those fears. It's been tough, but I'm a completely different person now compared to a year ago. I met my SP 2.5 years ago in a city where we both happened to be. He was instantly drawn to me. We worked together, had lunch and dinner together every day, and he'd message me as soon as I got home. He was always kind, patient, and incredibly mature for his age, but my insecurities kicked in early on. I was scared he'd be like my ex, and I sabotaged the connection. I talked about other guys, I minimized him, and I constantly needed reassurance. This lasted for about 6 months until summer came and we started speaking less. That sent me into a spiral. To me, it felt like the end of the world, and I confronted him, and although he remained respectful, I ended up pushing him away. Eventually, I even told him that I wasn't interested, and I accused him of hiding his feelings. He denied everything, calling the situation toxic, and said we had to stop. I agreed. We didn't talk for 4 to 5 months. That's when I found Athena. I was lucky to feel instantly drawn to her despite the many coaches out there. We had a couple of sessions, and being someone who loves to study and understand things, which she really does, always said she'll be my best student, I quickly grasped at how manifestation worked. I've always been a strong manifester. Even as a child, people would say they were afraid of me, afraid of me saying things because they'd come true. In April, a group of friends wanted to organize a dinner, and they asked me to invite him. He replied kindly. I didn't expect anything, but the next day he messaged me, and from that moment on, we haven't stopped talking. He supported me through everything, even my mum's illness. In September, my insecurities came back. I wanted to see him, but we lived 40 minutes apart. I expected him to visit me, even invited him over, but he always seemed busy. I started doubting again, doing a lot of wavering, thinking he didn't care. It wasn't until December, after talking to someone I met through Athena, that I decided to open up to him about my past, my fears, and how I was feeling. I went back to being the real me, honest, affectionate, and fearless. Since then, our relationship has taken off. I just wanted to add something in there as well, and maybe the lady who got in touch with my client here, you know who you are anyway. The fact that when my client shared her success story about her mother's healing, obviously inspired so many of you, and I think she was available in the comments or something anyway. My client answered a few questions. But this particular lady got in touch with me and asked me if I could connect my client with her. She wanted to speak to her. So I did, not expecting anything because I respect my client's privacy, but I put it to her and she very graciously accepted. And it turned out that this lady, Spanish lady, she was an integral part of my client's bridge of events. So imagine that, no matter who it is in the world, everybody, whether it's strangers, people you've met, people you've never met, family members, everyone will play their part to help your manifestation come along. So she honestly did. So we started sharing every part of our lives. We talked about everything. We built the kind of emotional intimacy most couples never reach, but we still hadn't seen each other again in person, which was one of my biggest blocks. Looking back, the truth is he always made time for me. He didn't just have the financial means or the freedom to come visit. He just didn't have the financial means or freedom to come visit. And he was ashamed to admit it. My negative assumptions clouded everything. I kept reacting emotionally, panicking over small things. like not getting a message. Yes, she did. But then that's when I began to really look within, to focus on my own patterns, not his. Athena helped me a lot, and so did my best friend, who always reminded me of the truth when I lost perspective. In March, I felt a shift. Despite all the times I pushed him away, he stayed. I started opening up completely about my avoidant attachment, my mother, and why I sometimes isolate. That's when we built real trust. I changed my assumptions. I naturally began to believe that I was his priority and the only one for him. These thoughts became more consistent while the destructive ones faded. He also started opening up about things that he had never told anyone. And then last month, something beautiful happened. The day before my birthday, I was doing a lot of wavering, sad that he wouldn't be there. But the next day I found out he had worked with my best friend to send me flowers whilst he was away at a conference. I couldn't believe it. Once again, it showed me you don't need to believe something for it to manifest. You just need to shift your perspective every single time and stay aligned. Reacting to the 3D is never an issue. A few days ago, I realized it's finally time to share my success story. Even though we're not officially together yet, everything points to it happening very soon. He's present, loving, invites me to his city, makes time for me no matter what. He even lied to stay an extra 10 minutes with me once. This week, without me asking, he sent me his full work schedule, which I had asked him before about, but I had never received it, so that we could plan our meetings better. And it was absolutely crazy how even though I wasn't as excited, I was at work. So I just told him, okay, I'll let you know. He kept saying, please let me know whenever you come. You can come to my job before or after that, and I can make time for you whenever. Just please let me know. It came so natural that I almost forgot it's what I had wished for almost a year. I'm realizing it just now as I type. I might be moving to his city for work in September. Actually, I'm also manifesting that, and I am sure I am. He's already helping me look for places to live and includes me in everything. That means so much to me, especially considering how long I blocked this manifestation, thinking he didn't want to see me, when really he just had his own issues and he didn't know how to express them. Athena asked me what helped me shift. Honestly, I don't know. I wavered a lot, and for a long time I thought I had to think perfectly all the time, but that's not true. Opposing thoughts don't block your manifestation, they just blur your... And I love what she said here. Look, listen to this. Opposing thoughts do not block your manifestation. It suddenly got really dark. Opposing thoughts do not block your manifestation, they just blur your vision of what's already happening. You see, she got it, she's learning. Because everything's in existence now, you're just making the unseen seen. And she got that finally. So the same goes for reacting to your 3D. It means nothing as far as you realign and continue your journey. You cannot ruin anything, and I'm starting to understand what that means just now. My actions caused the initial distance between us, but I don't regret any of it. It made me who I am. Do you see that? Reflection. Never regret your past actions. Learn from it. It made me who I am, and it was necessary to create the relationship I've always dreamed of. He is exactly the person I've always wanted, physically, emotionally, and mentally. My inner child never settled for less because she knew someone like him existed. I forgot to mention he's my dream man. He's the person I wanted to marry since I can remember. What helped me shift the most was maybe this. Subconsciously, I was so tired and fed up, I stopped acting out of fear and I started acting with courage, as if we were already in the relationship. Even when reacting to the 3D, I remembered that being upset with him doesn't mean love is gone. Even in a relationship, people argue, they get hurt, and they still choose each other. That shift in me also allowed him to feel safe doing the same, and that's how we got to where we are now. Thank you so much, Athena. And she is such a sweetheart. So she recorded an extra couple of voice notes. One of them I think is just for me, but she said, this one's only for you and the other 3 are for online people. So she said, I also recorded these 2 voice notes that I would like people who are manifesting their SP to hear, if you don't mind. So, do you mind? Do you have some extra time? Let's listen to what she says, because she says some really key things for those of you who are worried about having opposing thoughts in a community that keeps telling you about this sort of consistency of never wavering, never doubting, perfect thoughts, affirm over your thoughts, this toxic sort of positivity. Honestly, she wavered so much, and there was not last December, I think December before, or some time, where she had a real breakdown with it, and was just like, how we would say, throwing her toys out of the pram with it. It's just like, had enough, really was just so upset, was so defeatist. And I was like, I know this isn't the end of your story. And I just kept on bashing it into her, the truth of what it was. And something clicked one day, and she's doing it herself now. So let's see what she says.
Also, I hope my message is clear. And I hope my message is clear enough, because English is not my first language. But I also wanted to record this vocal note because I feel so emotional, like writing this. And I wanted to say some things, like to the people, to all the people like that are manifesting their SP, that are listening to this. So first of all, I would like to say that this journey has been incredibly painful for me. Incredibly. Like, Athena knows how many times I cried, how many times I spiraled, how many times I wavered, and that didn't mean anything. And I want like people to know that like spiraling, wavering doesn't mean anything, and that manifestation, it doesn't have to be painful at all. Like, manifestation is so easy, you just have to decide one thing and then go on with your life and disregard anything that comes in the way, and it will come. Like, it's a law, it will come. So manifestation, it's incredibly easy. Like, you don't know how many things I manifested like this year, like some things that seemed like completely impossible to me, and right now I'm also like manifesting something that other people believe it's impossible, but I don't care, because I know it is, and I know that I'm limitless. So I want you to know that manifestation, it doesn't have to be painful at all. But one thing that it wasn't like a manifestation journey for me, it was therapy. It was literally like therapy for me, because it was so painful for me, because I had to deal with so many traumas and so many things from my childhood, and the relationship with my mom, and this very big assumption that I had, that I wasn't prioritizing any kind of relationship, that people didn't have time for me, that everyone was so interested for me at first, and then the thing kind of faded off through time, or that I wasn't being ignored by people. And also like the thing with my avoidant attachment, that I know that Athena doesn't like labels. It's just like somebody being scared of intimacy because of what you went through your childhood. And I also want you to know that like, I had the happiest childhood ever, and doesn't mean that you don't have traumas, because it just depends on, how you grow up and the things you deal with and how you deal with them as a child. And you have to forgive yourself and to learn from that and just move on. But for me, it was incredibly painful because of that, because I had to deal with myself. He was like constantly being the best version of him ever, except for some things that I talked about, that I had kind of different assumptions. So he was showing up as being like a little bit avoidant, always busy, but I also think that it was just because he didn't feel safe enough, because I wasn't feeling safe enough. So I just acted out of fear. And he's also like a very emotional, intelligent, and sensitive guy, so I feel that he sensed that. So he was like, through all my journey, he was being like the most loving, amazing, compassionate, and best guy ever. And I wasn't able to see that. Like, at times I could see that, and then some other times I just couldn't, because I was blinded by my insecurities and my fear. And it was okay, because I had to go through that. And when I say that I feel like I kind of manifested my manifestation journey, I completely believe that, because I was at a point where I was like, I just can't do this anymore. Like, relationships are so painful for me, like so painful. And it feels like at some point I remember like telling Athena, I'm more scared of relationship than death. Like, I deal with that like perfectly, and then with relationship it feels like the end of the world to me. So, and also because of some panic attacks that I had and all of that, I just started to think, I have to change this, and I know that I can do it. And even if it's painful, and healing isn't linear, so one day you're okay and the next day you're not, it's so worth it, because it's just you investing in yourself. It's not about the other person. Like, and it feels so annoying. Like, I know that when you hear like these manifestation videos, it feels so annoying when people are like, oh, it's always about you and not about the other person. But it's so true. It's about you and what you think about yourself, about relationship, about the world, about what you can or cannot have. And then it's just what the other person is doing is just a byproduct of that, simply because when you have an assumption, you act out of that assumption, and then the assumption, and then you basically do something, the other person receives what you're doing and act accordingly, because we're all human beings. So I just want to say that if you're manifesting your SP, like, I'm so like close to you, like I would like to speak to anybody manifesting their SPs, because I know how painful it can be. And also, like, as an avoidant, recovering avoidant, I don't know how to say that, but as a person, basically being so scared of intimacy and relationship, and struggling with thinking that the other person can unconditionally love you, which I know that it's so true, because like my best friend and him, like, I felt they love me, like they're the most loving people on planet Earth. Like, I feel so blessed and so lucky because of that. And it can be painful, but you have to go through that. Like, it's so worth it. And just like, so I wanted to say that, and I also wanted to say that it's never like a big deal reacting to the 3D. I reacted so many times, I lost count. Like, I literally lost count. Like, every time he said something or he did something, I acted out of fear, out of my insecurities. But the most important thing is just realigning yourself and thinking, okay, this happened, I reacted to that, but I can see this thing in a very different way. And this is also, I can see this, if I wasn't like the person having these fears and these insecurities, how would I see that? And if you can be clear enough on that, like if your vision can be clear enough on that, then ask for help to people that are emotionally intelligent. Like, please stay away from social media and from negative people, because one thing that I was unconsciously manifesting were basically people that were reflecting back to me my fears, and unhealed people, traumatized people, that they were like, oh, he's not texting you because of this and because of that, he doesn't want to see you, when the reality was completely different. He had some economic issues, and he still lives with his family, so they had just one car, so he couldn't just come to me. And there were so many issues behind that. So please surround yourself with emotional intelligence people. Like, if you have to share your manifestation journey, please share it with very intelligent, with very emotionally intelligent people, because my best friend was, and she was key, like beside Athena, of course, but like for me, like, I mean, one person that's with you like from day to night, that can help you realize that your SP is a human being. So they can have their struggles, their fears, their issues, and all of that. And, they're a human being at the end of the day. So it isn't always about you. Like, in this case, it wasn't even about me. Like, he was telling me in all the possible ways, I want to be with you. At some point, I remember him telling me, I can come to you, but I will try to organize like a conference in your city to be able to meet you and be with you after that. And even then, I was just like, why are you doing this? Like, why not just meeting? Like, why not like a normal date? And I couldn't see that a person wanted to do all of this just to be like with me 1 hour, 2 hours. And then I realized, like, my friend helped me realize that it was because he could use his card to come to me and say that to his parents, like, I'm using my car for this reason. So it isn't like I want people, like, I really want people that are manifesting to their SP to stay away from social media and all that labeling things, because each one of us is their own unique person. So thinking that maybe somebody isn't replying, so this person is ghosting you, or thinking this and thinking that, like, no, please. Just trust emotionally intelligent people, and people that are able to go beyond the surface and to actually see the people for what they are. people, not machines, and your SP is not a machine, is not a perfect person, it's just a human being as you are. So please don't share your manifestation journey with insecure and negative people. And because I kept attracting people that were telling me the wrong things, basically. And I kept, being triggered, and the thing was even more painful. So if I can help somebody with that, I'm very glad. And also I wanted to say something to people that maybe are manifesting their SP and they think that their SP is an avoidant, or their SP is not interested in them because, I don't know, maybe their SP is mentioning other people or talking about other people. I was doing that. I kept mentioning to him other guys for 2 years straight, and not because I was not interested in him, but because I was interested in him, and I was basically testing him. And I really want people to start having compassion for avoidant people, if you want to say that, but it's so painful. It's you being so scared of intimacy and of relationship that you're rather like sabotaging your own happiness than being with somebody that you love. So you basically break your own heart. And it's true, like everyone, should seek therapy, should ask for help. But please be compassionate with your specific person. Like, don't label them as avoidant or as anything. Like, they have fears, like they're just scared. And it's different when you think somebody's avoidant is avoiding you, or just thinking that person is just scared. Look, I should be, I should have more compassion. And this was also a topic with my SP, because I told him about that, because at some point when we were discussing or anything, I would just disappear. And then at some point I was just like, I have to tell you this. It's because I'm scared, and I think that you're going to leave me, or I'm scared to confront you about something because I think that you think, I don't know, she's boring or she's annoying and all of that. And the other person will meet you with so much compassion when you start having compassion for yourself. So yeah, that was it. I'm sorry, like this is very long, and but it's been such a journey for me, and it's not over yet. But I'm so grateful. Like this has been like therapy for me, like really. And it would have been so painful for me to keep living in the way I used to live. And yeah, so that's it. And
and it cut off there. So let me put this back on. But thank you so much, sweetheart, for being so vulnerable and opening up like that, because I know it wasn't easy. So you can see already she's detaching herself from that avoidant label and saying, like recovering or healing from it. Just see it as symptoms, don't own it. And even for those of you who, because I know many of you do feel like you've done something that you regret, or you pushed them away, or you reacted in ways that you shouldn't have, and you are so hard on yourselves. Honestly, I see your comments and I speak to my clients all the time. You beat yourselves up like nothing. Stop that now. That is not going to get you anywhere. Take a step back. You reacted in a way that was perfect for you at the time. If you were occupying a state of anxiety and seeing relationships as something that could be dangerous, that sets your nervous system into fight or flight, that's okay. Take a step back, analyze and observe. I was reframing the story for her all the time, because her natural go-to was to catastrophize everything. Every time he didn't respond straight away, it's like he's playing games. She missed the whole point. And I remember one evening and I was tough with you, wasn't I, darling? Giving you a bit of the tough love, actually, because she'd been in this cycle so many times. And that's when I said to her, you know how you acted in the relationship, talking about other guys, testing him, pushing him. I think many of us, if we're honest with ourselves, do things like that. It's like, let me just test and push to see, will they stay? Can I trust them? But the problem is, if I don't solve this wound out, it doesn't matter how much external validation I get, it's never going to be enough. That's why it's not about external validation. That's why it's always about you and your state. And when I made her realize, and that's why as well she really emphasized those in those last couple of voice messages, Do you notice how she kept reiterating as well, they're human beings? See, I can tell this sunk in with her now, because when I said you did all of that to him, and it wasn't because you didn't love him, and when you were cutting them off and testing him and pushing him away, it wasn't because you didn't want to be with him. That was your fears and your traumas acting out. I said, so he also evidently has some anxieties. He's not used to being in relationships. In fact, I'm not even sure if he's had many relationships. He's evidently very shy. He loves you to bits, that much is obvious. And so he's coming in his own pace. So, you know, I had changed all of that around. I was like, why is it okay for you to act like that out of your fears, but not for him? Where's the compassion for him? Because it's true what she's saying. I think in social media, and I'll make a separate video about this, but dating advice has no place when it comes to manifestation. You see, the thing is about my sort of studying different modalities of therapy and just understanding the psychology of the human mind, is that this whole sort of, anyone who's blocked me and anyone who's ghosted, like they're talking from place of empowerment. You know, half the time when people say that, oh, well, if they've blocked me, you know, I block them, I cut them off. Fine if it's coming from confidence, but what you'll find is many people say that from a place of fear themselves, from a place of just not wanting to understand the wound here, or even give any sort of compassion or understanding to the fact that human behavior is not black and white. It's not black and white. Fear can cause you to do things, shut yourself off, cut yourself away. I've had that before with people who have said to me, my SP blocked me, my SP ghosted me. Why do you make that mean something bad? Because what I have found is that when their SPs have come back, it's been an array of reasons, be it fear, be it on a couple of occasions they found out that their specific person had just lost their mother or their father had passed away, so they went into a state of grief and they shut down. So who says, why is blocking and ghosting, why is this a bad thing? Why is it some sort of evidence that you're a bad person, or they don't want to be with you, they're acting out of malice, so I'll cut them off as well and not be spiteful, and we have these sort of mind games and back and forth. Why is that? Human behavior is really not that black and white. It isn't. We're more complex than that. We're more multi-layered, multifaceted than that, and we're all beautiful in our own ways. All of our minds are wired differently. And for her, she needed some intensive support in the beginning. I had to talk to her quite a lot. She was dedicated to her change though. And that's because the pain and the regret she had of what she did in that relationship in the first place, she knew she needed to change. And as you see, she regrets nothing. And she realizes now it was a perfect part of the bridge to her change work. Because if she didn't feel immense pain and torture in the beginning, she would not have been driven to do the work that I was giving her, to face her fears, to actually persevere through it. And she did waver a lot, but did you notice she brought it back to self every single time? It doesn't matter if you waver, you get triggered or whatever, you have a tantrum, good, vent, rage. Realign yourself afterwards, because it's about your dominant dwelling place. It's not about perfection. You hear me? You get it now? Now all of you, go. You're already on the road to success, because that's what we're here for. I love you all. And I'll see you in the next video. And for those of you who have emailed me about consultations, please, I'm getting back to all of you, and I answer all of the emails. I answer every single one of my emails about consultations, but it just means that it takes me a little bit of time. Okay, so give me at least maximum 4 days to respond to you. Okay, I love you guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.